If you are a fan of booking flights online, you'll often see a price coming up and you go, oh, that looks a good price. Oh, I'll go for that flight. By the time you've actually paid for your seat, and yet you need to pay for your seat, by the time you've got luggage of any kind whatsoever onto the plane, even if it's just hand luggage, you're paying an awful lot more, sometimes more than double what the actual original flight was. Well, the Airlines UK industry, Airlines UK body have said that they are going to crack down on all those hidden fees as part of a new government plan to improve transparency for people shopping online. I know one person who's going to welcome this, and that's travel correspondent, The Independent, Simon Calder. Good morning to you, Simon.
Julia, lovely to see you from here at York Station, where there are indeed some hidden charges as well. If, for instance, you book on Trainline's website to go to London, you will suddenly find you're paying a £1.50 or a £1.80 fee for the travel. So it's all the way across the transport industry, buses included, but airlines, I think it is their leading skill set is ancillaries, as they're called, which is you're only buying the flying when you buy your ticket, and everything else you're going to pay extra for.
Well, I mean, we know this happens in the railway industry. I mean, trying to book a rail ticket now, you need a bloody Mensa membership, don't you? But I book a lot of, as people will know, Gloria Hunniford, I ain't. I book a lot of tickets, and I do a lot of the, the EasyJet and the Ryanair. To my cost, I've flown Wizz Air. Amazingly, managed to get my luggage there, and I don't see the point of paying an absolute fortune. It's like, especially a local, a European flight, you're looking at 2 hours at best on a plane. Just like it or lump it, and just get there as cheaply as possible. But it just isn't as cheap as you think it is. And particularly, I don't mind being charged for luggage, except when the luggage is costing more than me getting on the plane, but also when I'm being charged to have a seat. Because you kind of figure when you buy a ticket, you've bought a seat.
Yes, and look, the airlines say there are no hidden charges. Everything is absolutely clear. And if you don't want to pay for a seat, and I never do, then you don't have to. There will be a seat for you. You just don't know which one it will be.
Oh, no, but Simon, that's absolutely fine if you're travelling on your own. But if you're travelling with a family, you've got kids with you, you need to make sure you're sitting together. And I've been on plenty of planes where people are just seated, way apart. I mean, deliberately. There was an algorithm on Ryanair, wasn't there, and on EasyJet, where they deliberately seated people apart if they didn't pay. People did it once, and then they paid. Also, I don't want to be by the loos the entire journey, especially on a long flight.
Well, no, and look, there is a difference here. I think it's perfectly reasonable for airlines to charge you extra for things that cost them extra. Right, EasyJet began in 1995. I know you were just a small child at the time, but I remember having to go on national media, sadly TalkTV wasn't around at the time, and explain how you got on this flight from Luton to Glasgow, and you had to pay 50 pence for a cup of tea. Oh, yeah. My goodness, days when you pay 50 pence for a cup of tea on a plane. OK, so, but they said, it was going to cost us 30 pence to make you a cup of tea, so we're going to charge you 50. Similarly with when baggage charges started, and that was only 2006, the airline simply said, it does cost us a couple of quid to put a bag on a plane, so we're going to give you the choice of taking that or not.
But I don't mind that. That's reasonable. But the point is, when the charges are, 50 quid to take your bag, or even it can be up to sort of 15 quid to book a seat. I'm getting some flights at Christmas. OK, they're long haul. Buying the seat, and again, not ending up on a 10-hour flight, sitting by the loos for 10 hours, we're looking at £45 on BA, 40 each. I mean, each. That's just to have a seat and not be put in the row at the very back where you've got people, leaning on you and you're smelling God knows what coming out of the loos for 10 hours.
And I'm afraid, Julia, that's exactly where you will find me, so I look forward to seeing you on board. But look, you've got a choice, and I absolutely agree. The airlines, look, the average cost of flying has come down enormously over the decade, and the airlines now are just sort of trying to make money up by charging us for ancillaries, and that's what they make their money from.
That's how they make it. Simon Calder, sorry, in a very noisy train station, as you heard, travel correspondent at The Independent. Thank you very much, Steve.